Costa Rica is a tiny nation of great accomplishments. It has carefully avoided the upheavals that have crippled other Central American nations. Its democracy is stable. It enjoys the highest rate of literacy in Central America, and it has more teachers than policemen. I'm Gavin McLeod, and I'm glad you could join me. Though less than half the size of the state of Ohio, Costa Rica is endowed with what scientists refer to as species exuberance. This means that this tiny nation's 13 national parks and 16 preserves are home to more than 237 species of mammals, 850 species of birds, 16,500 species of butterflies and moths, and 1,200 different kinds of orchids. Astounding. It's no wonder that lovers of wildlife go to Costa Rica like pilgrims to a shrine.
There is no country on earth with more natural diversity than Costa Rica. From the rain-drenched tropical forests and the winding rivers of the lowlands, to the sun-baked dry forests and frostbitten mountain peaks, Costa Rica is home to every major ecosystem in the American tropics. In the air and in the water, in the treetops and on the ground, wildlife of diverse shape and form appear from all directions. Mammals, reptiles, birds, insects, and amphibians all thrive among the more than 8,000 species of tropical plants. Over the past decade, Costa Rica has pioneered and become the world leader in eco-travel. People from all over the globe are participating in the incredible natural experience of touring Costa Rica's renowned national parks. Through their travels, they bring economic support and attention to the international conservation efforts. Together, eco-travelers in the national park system are increasing the worldwide understanding and awareness of nature and saving wildlands from destruction. Costa Rica is located on the Central American Isthmus, completely within the Earth's tropical belt. The capital city is San Jose. For many years, Costa Rica has been appreciated for its friendly people, high standard of living, and democratic government that possesses no army. But now the country has become world famous for its national park system and for its eco-travel possibilities. Costa Rica's remarkable natural diversity is linked to the geologic evolution of the Central American Isthmus. 3 million years ago, the forces of intense volcanic activity and continental shift created and molded land into a bridge connecting the North and South American continents. The young land was fertile and possessed a generous supply of the primary ingredients of life: sunlight, water, and nutrients. Great forests rose from the rich volcanic soil. The land bridge became a biological highway. Species from the north and from the south met in Central America, joining other species endemic to the region. Due to its unique evolution, this small country, only the size of West Virginia, contains about 5% of all the plant and animal species on Earth. It's one of the most biologically diverse nations in the world. But the tropical forests are being cut and burned at the rate of 1 acre per second. The vast biological resources of Costa Rica and all of the tropical world are under siege by the forces of uncontrolled and rapid destruction. Every hour, the loss of forest drives one species of life to extinction. The deforested land turns underproductive or into desert in only a few years. The loss and burning of forest are the greatest contributors to the critical environmental threats of ozone depletion and global warming. The people of Costa Rica are now aggressively fighting this destructive activity. Under the guidance of innovative and determined conservationists, they have created the most effective national park system in the world, which protects 22% of their national territory. Little did the founders of the park system know that 25 years later, their national parks would become the premier eco-travel destination in the world, improving their country's economy and creating an international model for conservation. This park system contains 7 distinct conservation areas. The Central Volcanic Range surrounds the capital city and is filled with lush cloud forests, steamy volcanoes, and ancient cultural remains. Boasts National Park is a rare opportunity for travelers to peer down into an active volcano. It last erupted in 1954, and today merely emits gases and releases geyser-like clouds of water and steam. The Boasts crater is more than 1 mile wide, nearly 1,000 feet deep, and reaches temperatures in excess of 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit. A short trail through the forest leads to the tranquil Botos Lake. About 7,500 years ago, this too was an active crater. Just a few minutes away from Boasts is Braulio Carrillo National Park. At the upper elevations of Braulio Carrillo, the land is cloaked in thick cloud forests. They are filled with plants specially adapted to accumulate water and increase condensation. The river Sucio is colored by soil and minerals and can be seen from the highway that passes through the park. The cloud forests produce copious amounts of water that nourish the entire country. This plant, known locally as the poor man's umbrella, has the largest leaves of any plant in Costa Rica. In all, it is estimated that over 5,000 species of plants grow in the dense primary forests of Braulio Carrillo. Juan Castro Blanco National Park guards one of the most spectacular waterfalls in all of Costa Rica. Ule Lagoon sits atop an ancient volcano. The size of this lake suggests that the former crater was gigantic in size, and the opulent forest is the product of rich volcanic soil. At the highest elevation of the Central Volcanic Range, 11,250 feet above sea level, is Irazu volcano. The crater, reminiscent of a lunar landscape, supports little vegetation and is more than a half-mile wide. In the language of one of the chiefdoms that inhabited the region in pre-Columbian times, Irazu means rumbling earthquake mountain. About 10 miles to the east is Guayabo National Monument. Guayabo is the most important archaeological site in Costa Rica and displays the remains of a substantial pre-Columbian civilization. The artifacts found here suggest that these people reached their political and social climax between 300 and 700 AD. The major structures excavated include streets and causeways, tombs and aqueducts, which still function today. Little is known about this civilization, whose inhabitants were gone before the Spanish colonization began in the 16th century. The Osa Peninsula Conservation Area is 6.5 hours from San Jose by car or 30 minutes by air. Within the area is Corcovado National Park. Corcovado is the ultimate rainforest experience. It is the tallest and wettest forest in Costa Rica, with giant trees rising over 200 feet to the sky. To reach the interior of the park, a strenuous all-day hike or a small aircraft is required. The trails that wind through the forest reveal an exotic landscape and exuberant wildlife. Spider monkeys are playful and active. They sometimes appear out of control as they leap among the branches, but their agility rarely fails. Usually they are found individually or with one partner, but on occasion a large troop will gather at a single tree to feed or rest together. Overhead in the tree canopy, streaks of bright color cross the emerald backdrop. 370 species of birds have been identified in the park. Even the most avid bird watchers will encounter new finds here. Corcovado is one of only 2 forests in Costa Rica that still support a healthy population of scarlet macaws. Unafraid of predators, their piercing squawk resonates throughout the park. The scarlet macaw is a monogamous animal and will mate with only one partner in its life. The capture of these birds for illegal pet trade has seriously depleted their worldwide population. Also on the endangered species list is the comical squirrel monkey. Weighing only 1.5 pounds, the squirrel monkey is the smallest in Costa Rica. They are very high-strung and will only stop moving to eat or sleep. Beneath the tree canopy is the zone called the forest understory, and it is rich with activity as well. Trails of hard-working leaf-cutter ants crisscross the forest floor. The tiny insects cut their favorite leaves and then laboriously carry the pieces to an underground chamber, where they are converted into a food source for the large ant colony. The rhinoceros beetle is the largest of all insects. Amphibians and reptiles make their home in the forest understory. The poison dart frog is not dangerous, but the fer-de-lance and viper snakes possess a deadly venom. The diversity of wildlife in the Corcovado forest seems endless, and researchers continue to discover new species of plants and animals previously unknown to science. The forest covers most of the peninsula, extending all the way to the rocky and sandy vegetation of the Pacific coastline. Endangered brown pelicans breed along these beaches. At the mouth of the River Serena, saltwater and freshwater combine and create a large mangrove swamp where the American crocodile can be found. At birth, they are quite small, less than 1 foot in length, but they begin to grow rapidly and continue to grow until they die. Older crocodiles reach lengths of over 12 feet. Despite their ferocious appearance, the American crocodile is generally tame. Corcovado National Park keeps one of the great treasures of our natural history and holds the answers to untold secrets of the rainforest. The Guanacaste Conservation Area is located 4 hours by car from San Jose. It contains Santa Rosa and Rincon de la Vieja National Parks. Santa Rosa National Park presents a stark contrast to the rainforest of Corcovado. The forest here is composed of savannas and deciduous trees, and rainfall is only a fraction of that found in a rainforest. This ecosystem is known as the tropical dry forest, and the observant traveler will find that the plant and animal species are quite different from the rainforest. The dry forest once covered the majority of northern Costa Rica, but nearly all of the forest outside of the park has been destroyed to make room for cattle ranchers. Santa Rosa was the site of an important battle in 1856. At this ranch house, a rugged volunteer army defeated U.S. Army renegade William Walker. The victory bonded together Costa Rica as a nation. Following the trails away from the park ranger station, you are almost certain to encounter troops of white-faced capuchin monkeys. The white-faced monkeys are on the move about 80% of the time and will travel through the trees between 1 and 2 miles each day. The young will spend the first 5 to 6 months of life on their mother's backs. At 3 to 4 years of age, they will reach maturity and begin to reproduce. Every year or two, the mature females will give birth, adding new members to the troop. This family of white-faced monkeys is taking a rest in the extreme midday heat. The dry forest of Santa Rosa extends west to the Pacific Ocean and Naranjo Beach, where mangrove swamps skirt the coastline. Witch's Rock is 60 million years old and is famous in local folklore and among the international surfing community as well. 1.5 hours east of Santa Rosa is Rincon de la Vieja National Park. Rincon is the largest volcano in the Guanacaste region. The surrounding landscape is pure serenity. Most travelers explore the park on horseback with local guides from the surrounding villages. The Poza Azul, or Blue Lagoon, makes for a refreshing stop. Rincon de la Vieja is extremely active. Las Pilas, or the cauldrons, is a large area of secondary volcanic activity. Pits of boiling water and bubbling mud and vapor geysers that color the rocks red, yellow, and green help vent geothermal pressure from underground chambers. Peaceful trails wind through a variety of forests, leading to panoramic views and natural attractions. Azufrales are sulfurous hot springs that combine with cool streams to create therapeutic pools. The hidden waterfall offers a final tribute to the area's beauty. The Tempisque Conservation Area is located about 3 hours from San Jose. Within the area is Palo Verde and Barra Honda National Parks. Palo Verde National Park protects what is known as the Tempisque lowlands. It's a delicate system of lagoons, marshes, and swamps that surrounds the lower portion and mouth of the Tempisque River. Cruising the river by small powerboat is a favorite expedition for eco-travelers and will allow you to closely approach large crocodiles and their smaller relatives, the caiman. Downriver, rare heron, storks, and egrets have colonized a small island. The island provides the birds with a well-protected breeding site. The swamps bordering the river support the largest concentration of waterfowl and wading birds in all of Central America. Black-bellied tree ducks are most numerous between March and September. Further away from the river, the swamps give way to a dry forest. Huge iguanas are frequently seen sunning themselves. A regular inhabitant of Palo Verde is the howler monkey. The howlers are the most abundant of the 4 species of monkeys in Costa Rica. They populate all but the most mountainous regions. They're also the largest, weighing up to 15 pounds. Unlike the other monkeys we have seen, the howlers are sedentary and generally inactive. They move slowly or not at all. This young one, less than 3 months old, is quickly learning how to get around in the forest. About 1 hour south of Palo Verde is Barahonda National Park. Barahonda Peak rises 980 feet above the Nicoya Peninsula. It was once a coral reef under the ocean and now contains an intricate system of limestone caves that descend vertically into the mountain. For the adventurous eco-traveler, the caves can be explored. The entrances are sheer drops and only negotiable with ropes and trained guides from the local community. In this cave called Terciopelo, a giant chamber contains spectacular formations. The most prominent are stalagmites that rise from the cave floor and stalactites that hang from the ceiling. The creation of these caves takes hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. The origin of the caves is connected to the mountain's oceanic past. When the peak was a coral reef, small marine animals left deposits of calcium carbonate. These deposits hardened, creating a limestone structure. As the land emerged from the sea, the limestone dissolved and hollowed the chambers. Water drops containing calcium carbonate slowly drip, continually building the stalagmites and stalactites. Nearby, in the mysterious Nicoya Cave, ancient human remains and pre-Columbian artifacts have been found. Colonies of vampire bats thrive in the dark chambers of Nicoya. Mostly nocturnal, the bats are sluggish during the day. High-pitched squeals reveal the location of a daytime roost. At night, the bats will venture out to feed. The Arenal Conservation Area is located 3 hours from San Jose. Within the area is the Arenal Volcano, Lake, and Cloud Forest. Lake Arenal is a natural reservoir that has been enlarged. It serves as a hydroelectric energy source and as an irrigation source for the agriculture of the Pacific region. It's also famous among avid windsurfers. The cloud forest is set on the ridge that separates the Pacific and Caribbean and contains a rare mixture of colorful birds. The region, however, is dominated by the awesome presence of Arenal volcano. It is violently active. Loud explosions emitting burning rocks, soot, and smoke occur many times a day. They can be viewed from the safety of nearby lookouts. The explosions, however, are most impressive at night. The Tortuguero Conservation Area is accessible by a 30-minute flight from San Jose, or by car and then riverboat. Within the conservation area, all travel is by boat. Tortuguero National Park contains a vast network of navigable channels, lakes, and canals that reaches miles inland from the Caribbean Sea. These bountiful and vibrant forests receive 15 to 18 feet of rainfall a year. Navigating the waterways, either by a small dugout canoe or by large riverboat, is a unique adventure for eco-travelers. Wildlife appears in the air, in the trees, and on the riverbanks. Traveling in the early morning or just before sunset will provide the best wildlife viewing. Hundreds of different birds can be seen in the tree branches and searching for food along the water's edge. Some of these aged trees reach well over 100 feet in height, and they cast precious shade from the intense tropical sun. The caiman feed on fish and smaller amphibians. They can be differentiated from crocodiles by the brown color bands on their body and tail. Some parts of Tortuguero can be explored on foot. The poison dart frog is named for the Indians who once extracted the poison from under the frog's skin and applied it to blow darts. Above, in the forest canopy, a variety of birds and large troops of white-faced capuchin monkeys make their home. Highly social animals, they often wrestle and play and affectionately groom each other. In an old-growth forest such as Tortuguero, the troops can be as large as 30 individuals. When these large troops are on the move, they make quite a ruckus and perform a fantastic aerial acrobatic show. The animals continuously alternate the trees they feed on. Never fully depleting a single tree, they protect their food resources. On certain trees, the monkey's feeding behavior actually works like pruning and helps the tree to grow larger the following year. The Tortuguero Beach is one of the most important nesting sites in the world for the endangered green, leatherback, and hawksbill turtles. The graceful green turtle reaches 3 to 4 feet in length and weighs between 250 to 400 pounds. Leatherback is a true giant and can weigh up to 1,200 pounds. From July through October, thousands of sea turtles embark on a long voyage, traveling from their feeding waters to lay their eggs on Tortuguero Beach. Still a mystery to biologists, the turtles will only lay their eggs on the exact beach where they themselves were hatched, creating a cycle that requires the continued protection of Tortuguero National Park. The Amistad Conservation Area covers a wide range. It spans from the southern Caribbean and Cahuita National Park to the cloud forests of Tampantí National Park and reaches over 12,000 feet above sea level at Chiripo National Park. Cahuita National Park is located along the laid-back coastline of southern Costa Rica. The turquoise water, crystal blue skies, and luscious green forest blend into a captivating environment. Cahuita is a conservation success. Most of the coastal Caribbean forests have vanished, replaced by banana and palm oil farms. For the eco-traveler, Cahuita is perfect for exploring or just plain soaking. The tree sloth lives almost exclusively in the treetops. They seldom move. A sloth will spend at least one full day in a single tree. A well-marked trail winds through the park, leading to the watering holes and feeding grounds of the diverse and colorful Caribbean wildlife. The keel-billed toucan is conspicuously visible among the deep green background of the forest and is too often found by illegal hunters. From the beach, the commotion of howler monkeys is just overhead. Troops of between 9 and 18 monkeys move about the canopy in search of their favorite meals, fruits, flowers, and tender leaves. They have a discerning palate, preferring only the most ripe fruits and the very young leaves, which are highest in nutrients and lowest in toxins. The howler monkeys are named for their uncanny roar that can be heard up to a mile through the forest. Their voices are used to maintain space between different troops, helping to avoid territorial conflicts. West of Cahuita, rising in altitude up the slopes of Talamanca mountain range, is Tampantí National Park. Receiving over 20 feet of rainfall a year, Tampantí is one of the largest water reservoirs in the country. Like the forests of the Central Volcanic Range, these cloud forests create an abundance of water that supplies the daily needs of Costa Rica and other parts of Central America. Over 150 waterways originate here, forming beautiful rivers and waterfalls, and supporting a dense primary forest. The interior of the forest is humid and moist, the perfect environment for ferns, exotic flowers, and a medley of tropical butterflies. The sight of hatching butterflies is most common in June and July. In these early months of the rainy season, over 1,200 species of Costa Rican butterflies burst into colorful life. The Talamanca mountain range is also the largest block of habitat in the world for the nearly extinct resplendent quetzal. Revered by ancient cultures, the velvet tones and elegant plumage of the quetzal are among the most ornate in all of nature. Again, climbing in altitude to the uppermost region of the Talamanca Mountains is the silent and majestic land of Chiripo National Park. It is a land among the clouds. Chiripo can only be reached by a challenging 9-hour hike. As the trail winds upward, the temperature drops and the landscape changes dramatically. The tall forests of the lower elevations disappear. Stunted trees and plants struggle to survive. This formation, called Crestones, stands above the park ranger station and is known in local folklore to possess unique healing powers. Seen in the distance through the unpredictable and rapid movement of clouds is Chiripo Peak. Reaching 12,519 feet above sea level, it is the tallest peak in Costa Rica. A logbook at the summit records the names of all who complete the journey. The vegetation surrounding the peak is known as the Paramo ecosystem. Characterized by rugged plants and stunted forests, the Paramo system exists only above 9,000 feet. This land can be explored by day hikes from the park station. Well-preserved glacial formations cover the upper plateau of the park. These U-shaped valleys and lakes were formed by the movements of gigantic masses of ice approximately 35,000 years ago. Cocos Island National Park is located 310 miles west of the Costa Rica mainland. A colorful history fraught with swashbucklers and buried treasures has made the island the focus of many a treasure hunt. Although the legendary fortunes have not been found, scientists and naturalists have discovered that the marine environment surrounding the island is one of the richest in all of the world. Over 300 species of fish inhabit the area, as well as larger animals such as the humpback whale, hammerhead shark, and giant manta ray. Reaching Cocos Island is a difficult logistical challenge. Only private charters make the long ocean voyage. But for the eco-traveler who is fortunate enough to visit, the scuba diving is some of the very best on the planet. Brilliant colors, odd shapes, and peculiar behavior are characteristic of the great diversity of sea life that thrive in the waters around Cocos Island. those interested in swimming in close quarters with sharks, the area is home to a large population of hammerheads and other smaller shark species. The national parks of Costa Rica is one of the greatest natural experiences on Earth. And the incredible diversity of the country offers an endless combination of adventures. Over 600,000 people visit annually, but the leaders of the park system have not lost the focus of their original mission. One of the founders remarks, "Parks are for people, but the reason for parks is to protect nature. The real reason for parks is to protect species." The future success of Costa Rica's national parks rides on a continued commitment to this ideal. Costa Rica offers the eco-traveler more than any other nation in the world. Tropical wildlife viewing, hiking, whitewater rafting, caving, sailing, snorkeling, scuba diving, surfing, and windsurfing are only some of the possibilities. But in return, the eco-traveler must follow a vital code of travel ethics. Wildlife and natural habitats must never be disturbed. All waste must be removed from the conservation areas. The eco-traveler must be a positive influence on local communities. Eco-travel should bridge cultures and not cause conflict. And finally, the eco-travelers should leave with a greater understanding and appreciation of nature and conservation, as well as a motivation to strengthen the conservation effort and the natural integrity of places they have visited. Despite the efforts of national parks around the world, the majority of the Earth's natural ecosystems remain unprotected. Right now, wildlands are being destroyed at a frightening rate. As you watch this program, 2,700 acres of tropical forest are being destroyed. With every acre of forest we destroy, we diminish the Earth's ability to support life. Natural ecosystems maintain our atmosphere, control our climate, regulate our fresh water supply, and provide us with our most heavily used medicines. With every acre of forest we destroy, we increase drought, expand desert, accelerate air pollution, and eliminate the probable source of new medicines. The economic profits made from deforestation are short-term and benefit only a few. The costs are far greater and paid for by all of us. The nation of Costa Rica is proof that economic development and conservation can exist together. The national parks of Costa Rica present an important message to the world. It says that the natural ecosystems of this planet are the foundation of all life. Let us continue to accept the gifts of these wondrous creations rather than suffer and long for them when they are gone.
The quetzal, a bird of the mountain forests, was held sacred by the pre-Columbian cultures of Central America and Mexico. The image of the quetzal was carved into stone and woven into fabric. The Mayans and the Aztecs revered this bird as a god. Only emperors could adorn their robes with its plumage. The bird became a legend, so much so that early explorers doubted its existence. Then, in 1860, an Englishman spotted a real quetzal in the wild, and he wrote, "It is unequaled for splendor among the birds of the New World." Today, The quetzal is making a long-awaited comeback in the sheltering forests of Monteverde National Park in Costa Rica. I'm Gavin MacLeod. I'll see you again as we explore another great park of the world.